and welcome to Moms on Mics. I'm Joanne.
I'm Cash.
And I'm Sophia.
This episode, we are talking about Pink Shirt Day. It's an annual international anti-bullying campaign held on the last Wednesday of February. February 25th, 2026 will be Pink Shirt Day this year. So in 2007, two high school seniors, David Shepard and Travis Price, they took a stand against bullying when they protested against the harassment of a new grade 9 student at Central Kings Rural High School in Cambridge, Nova Scotia. The grade 9 student was bullied by peers for simply wearing a pink shirt. The two older students, David Shepard and Travis Price, learned about the bullying and decided to take a stand. They went to a discount store and bought 50 pink tank tops. They sent out a message to schoolmates that night, and the next morning they hauled the shirts to school in a plastic bag. David and Travis stood in the foyer handing out the pink shirts to their fellow students, encouraging everyone to wear pink to show support and send a message against bullying. The initiative was embraced by the CKNW Kids Fund, leading to nationwide support and fundraising for an anti-bullying programs in Canada. The event spread globally, with people in many countries participating on the last Wednesday of February, or a designated day in other regions, to raise awareness and promote inclusivity, safety, and acceptance. It serves as a day to stand up against all forms of bullying, promoting diversity and creating welcoming environments in schools, workplaces, and online.
I'm sure at some point everyone has either been bullied or been a bully or witnessed bullying. But what defines a bully? A bully is someone that deliberately acts out verbally or physically in an aggressive manner towards others with the intent to cause harm, fear, or distress. Not only does it cause harm to those who are being bullied, but it can also spark bullying among other students or peers. The bully's attempt to antagonize another child or person can come from a variety of motives. It happens far too often with kids. 1 out of 5 children reported being bullied during the school year. 1 in 5 tweens, ages 9 to 12 years old, report that they've been cyberbullied others, or seen cyberbullying online. Parents hope that their child will never be subjected to such torment. Perhaps even more importantly, parents hope their own child doesn't become the aggressor and want to understand the reasons children bully. However, not all bullying is rooted in malice. Kids bully each other for a mix of personal, social, and environmental reasons. It's rarely just one cause. The only way to stop it is to figure out the reason behind it. Lack of attention at home. Children are very receptive to what is going on in family households. If parents are going through a divorce or are constantly arguing, or parents are under the regular influence of drugs or alcohol, a child might feel neglected. A separation might be hard for the child to cope with. He or she may seek attention through different outlets or lash out on others. How siblings treat each other at home plays a significant role. Older siblings who have been bullied may bully their younger brother or sister, which could affect the way a child treats his or her peers. It becomes a learned behavior that is carried on into a classroom.
So were you guys ever bullies or bullied?
I was bullied.
I was bullied.
Oh no,
Yeah,
I was a bully.
yeah, I can see that.
Oh no. Aw. Well, that just hurt my feelings. I'm just kidding.
I'm not.
I know. I'm aware.
Oh, yeah, I was bullied in my younger years. Like once I hit high school, I wasn't, but because I was like one of the cool kids in high school. But in my younger elementary school years, yeah, kids were mean to me. They weren't very nice.
That's not good. In all
Yeah.
honesty, I kind of thought you might have been a bully too.
Well, there was a point where I was. There was a point where I wasn't a very nice person, and I think that, I had a pretty rough childhood growing up, and I was bullied a little bit, so then I became the bully,
Right.
right? but I did a lot of things that I regret. But yeah, you live and learn, right?
Exactly.
I would never bully anybody now.
Oh, of course not. No,
But
no.
yeah,
I think it doesn't take a psychologist to tell me why I was a bully. I fully am aware.
yeah,
My dad was an alcoholic. I was the one that got in trouble for everything and all that stuff and was never got any attention, whatever. And at
yeah,
home I was right like the
yeah,
punching bag. So
yeah,
when I went to school, I was not gonna have that there. And hurt kids, right? So I was a tough kid. I was used to getting hit. So I wasn't afraid to hit others. I wasn't afraid for a kid to hit me back. So I was like, damn, you weak compared to who hits me at home, right? Like, if you looked at me the wrong way or if I
yeah.
just whatever, I was a bully. And I remember there was one girl in particular in grade 7. I was awful to this one girl. I bullied her relentlessly. Like I was just not a nice person, but I was not to defend myself. I was going through a lot of shit at that time, and I took it out on this poor girl who had done absolutely nothing. She did not
Aw,
deserve this at all. But I left the school. I got in a lot of trouble for it. But later, when I was older and Facebook came around, I found her on Facebook and I sat my kids down and apologized to her on Facebook. Like I sent her a message and I was like, "Look, I was awful to you. I was horrible. I know all the things I did." And I'm like, apologized to her. And she ended up accepting my apology, which she didn't have to do. She could have told, and she knew I had my kids sitting with me, and I felt like they needed to learn this lesson, and I
mhm.
needed to teach it to them. And she very well could have said, "Fuck you." Like she didn't even have to respond, but she graciously did, and she accepted my apology. And it's something I'll regret for a very long time. And once I'd grown up, like, I mean, I had my first kid at 17. So by 17, I was no longer a bully because I had a baby,
Yeah,
right? But after I left that school, there were times that other people were bullied and I stepped in and we were like, absolutely not. You're not going to bully this person. Because I think when I left that school, it clicked how awful I was to this person. Like, once I was separated from the situation, I was able to see what a horrible person I was being and how it affected her. And so I kind of started changing then, but it took a long time. And I wouldn't say that all is forgiven. Like she had the grace to forgive me, but I don't think I'll ever forgive myself for that. When bullying has come into light so much and you can see how it affects other people, it's something you never really forgive yourself for doing, and it sucks. So all those bullies out there,
yeah.
knock that shit off because you will live with it when you're older.
Well, especially as an adult, right? Like
Yeah,
kids do stupid shit, but when you're an adult,
yeah.
there's no need for that. There's some really mean people out
There
there.
are, yeah. And
There's,
as a former bully, when I sit back and read people's posts on Facebook and the comments, the people in the comments bullying them,
yeah,
I'm like, you're a coward. You
yeah,
have so much inner turmoil and shit going on inside yourself. You're projecting this all on these poor people that are just asking for advice or whatever. And to do it as an adult, I'm like, that's so pathetic almost,
yeah,
because
yeah,
like at least I can say I was a child. Like, and I'm talking, I was like 12, 13, like old enough to know better, but still too young and too stupid to do
yeah,
anything different, right? But as an adult, what the fuck, man?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
there's no reason for adults bullying other adults at all. But
yeah.
yeah. So, Cash, you were bullied
Yeah, right up until high school.
that long?
Oh yeah.
Yikes.
Because I was the quiet one, right? Because I come
Right.
from a narcissistic family. So we had to learn to just shut up and put up. So we did.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was right until high school. Now
Yeah.
I'm like, it's okay to agree to disagree.
That's just it. Because there's certain things that you're never going to agree with anybody. Certain topics and certain people you'll just never agree with. So there's no way around it. You can both argue back and forth until you're blue in the face, and neither one of you is going to give in because you feel strongly about your convictions on that topic. So you just agree to disagree. My husband and I do that all the time on some things that are significant, and a lot of things are not. But there are some significant aspects like within like say politics and stuff like that that we strongly disagree with each other, but neither of us are going to change the other person's mind, and it doesn't necessarily affect our relationship. We just agree to disagree. He feels that way, I feel this way, whatever.
I noticed that, sometimes when you and I talk about politics, Cash doesn't say anything. So I
Because
think she
yeah.
agrees to disagree.
And that's all good, right?
Oh, it's because I honestly don't really follow politics
Yeah.
that closely.
But like other things too.
Which is total, but you know what? That's how adults coexist, right? There's
Yeah.
certain, like, I would not ever expect, Cash, I would never expect you to agree with 100% of everything I said, because how boring would this podcast be if all three of us agreed on everything all the time? There's times that I say things that, especially when I listen back in editing, that I know you guys have not agreed with what I've said. Because you both of you kind of go, well, Cash doesn't say anything. And Sophia, the way you say mm-hmm or uh-huh or so, like there's a different tone to it.
Oh, you think so? I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never.
I never hear it at the time, but when I go back in editing, I'm like,
Right.
she disagreed with what I said.
Oh,
I'm
maybe.
like, damn
I
it,
don't
she
know.
should have like I'm like we should that would have been
I
good
don't
like
know
back
though.
and forth.
I don't know that I did disagree with you. Maybe I'm just.
It's only been a couple of times, but
Yeah.
I mean, either that or you're like, just shut the fuck up. Like
Oh,
maybe that's more what it is. You've
yeah.
been going on and on, bitch.
You
Shut
do
up.
talk an awful lot.
Do not. It's a
Yeah,
podcast.
you
You're meant
do.
to talk. Do you know? Okay, speaking of me talking an awful lot, I mean, there was this cartoon in England, and it
Oh, here
was
we are.
called,
We're going to talk about how she talks a lot and I
because you're
talk
gonna find
more.
this hilarious, okay?
Yeah, okay.
So there was this cartoon in England. It was called Play School, I think, and they had three characters: Zippy, Bungle, and George. So Zippy was this, I don't know what kind of creature he was, but they could zip up his mouth. He would talk and talk and talk and talk, and then one of the other people would just zip up his mouth. Bungle, I want to say was a bear, and George was a hippopotamus. I could be wrong. Something like that. But anyway, my parents used to call me Zippy because they're like, you just don't stop talking. They would always call me Zippy. So yeah.
That's
So
good.
now you have a name that you can call me. You can be
Yeah,
like,
Zippy.
Zip it. I'll have to see if I can find a clip of it to show you. You'll find
That's
it so funny. But yeah, let me talk about how much I talk.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
You know, there's got if you're a listener out there and you love hearing me talk and write,
Here we go
please tell
again.
me. Please tell Sophia. I'm just fucking with you. Go ahead.
So funny. All right. The domino effect. Children who see bullying around them, or perhaps have fallen victim to bullying, may then become an aggressor. Bullying is a learned behavior, and kids may mimic what they see. Some youth may bully to fit with their peer group. Others may go to a school where these behaviors aren't properly addressed. Adult role models can also be bullies. This can include parents, teachers, coaches, etc. Very often, if a parent is a bully, is often angry or doesn't handle conflict well, then kids learn this behavior at home and then go to be bullies themselves. It is a learned behavior which can be unlearned. Bullies get relief from feeling helpless and overpower others. Need to control. This often sprouts from the need to feel popular at school. Some children who bully their peers want to dominate their classroom and feel like the leader of the pack. Bullies dominate, blame, and use others. They lack empathy and foresight and have contempt for the weak. They see weaker kids as their target and don't accept the consequences to their actions. They crave power and attention. unaware or unaccepting of their peers' differences. The reason for being bullied, cited most often by students, were physical appearance, race, ethnicity, gender, disability, religion, and sexual orientation. Some youth engage in bullying behavior due to a lack of understanding differences in backgrounds, cultures, and other identity markers. Social bullies have poor self-esteem and manipulate others through gossip and being mean. Some kids are just more aggressive, dominating, and impulsive by nature. It doesn't always mean that they are bullies. Unless your child tells you they are being bullied or has visible bruises or injuries, it can be hard to know if it's happening. Kids often feel embarrassed about being bullied and fear that if they involve their parents, then the bully will get in trouble and that will make the situation worse. So how do you know if your child is being bullied? There are some warning signs. If you notice your child acting different or seeming anxious, not eating, not sleeping well, or not doing the things they usually enjoy, seem moodier or more easily upset than usual, avoid certain situations like taking the bus to school. If you suspect bullying but your child is reluctant to open up, find ways to bring up the issue. You might see a situation on a TV show and ask, "What do you think of this?" Or "What do you think that person should have done?" This might lead to questions like, have you ever seen this happen, or have you ever experienced this? You might want to talk about any experiences you or another family member had at that age. Let your kids know that if they're being bullied or harassed or see it happening to someone else, it's important to talk to someone about it, whether it's you, another adult, a teacher, school counselor, or family friend, or a sibling.
So my oldest, he was bullied a little bit in school. The kid that bullied him, like, picked on him all the time and would, like, be physical, like, not overly physical, but, like, try and trip him and stuff like that and whatever. And I was very much, ask him to stop once. Like, if he hits you, ask him to stop. If he hits you again, hit him back. That's always been my philosophy on the thing.
Right.
So he walked past this kid's desk, and the kid, I can't remember exactly, he punched him or something. And so my son went to, like, kind of give him a backhand, like, you know how you do, like, the cuff upside the head, like the little whoop on the back of the head, right?
Yeah.
So he went to do that, but I guess he did it harder than he meant to, and he bounced this kid's face off his desk. And, yeah, okay, violence, not okay. I was so proud. When his teacher called me and told me what had happened, I'm like, hang on. But the other kid hit him first. And she's like, well, yeah. But I'm like, then good for him. And she's like, no, but we can't promote violence. I'm like, you're not. I am telling my kid, defend yourself. And he did.
Yeah.
I'm like, is he going to receive a punishment at school? And I guess he had to stay in from recess. Like, they both did. And I was like, okay. And she's like, but we would like you to follow up at home. I'm like, when that boy gets home, he's getting a high five from me, ma'am. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
And the kid never bullied him again.
Yeah.
That was it. Like, the bully needed someone to stand up to him. And as a former bully, that's absolutely, when a kid stood up to me and, like, didn't take my shit, I moved on.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't getting the reaction I wanted. This kid was going to give me more trouble than it was worth. Like, you got to stand up to him.
Yeah.
I do the same as you. If they're going to continue touching you, just lay them down, because no one's helping you. My son was in grade 1, and he was told to figure it out himself.
Yeah.
And so after that, I was like, no. So he's been coming home lately telling me there's this kid that's pushing him and tackling him to the ground. And he's like, so I got up and tackled him back. I'm like, good.
Right? That's
like,
just it.
I was like, you have to tell me or the teachers just so we are aware of it. And
Exactly.
we can help you. But if he won't listen to you, nail him back to the ground. Like, don't put up with his shit.
Exactly. And it's not promoting violence for anyone out there that listening and go, oh my God, we were promoting. No, if my kid came home and said, like, hey, I punched this kid for no reason, he'd be in shit.
Oh, yeah.
I would be dragging his ass back to school, and we'd be figuring it out, and he'd be apologizing, because I always told him, I'm not raising bullies. Yeah. I'm not raising you to be bullies. I'm not raising you to be dickheads. I'm not that way to you. You are in a safe family environment. You have no reason to be a bully. So not in my house. It's not happening. But defend yourself, Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Okay, so this next section, I'm going to call it the absolute bullshit way to deal with bullying. But it's what other people say is you're supposed to do. So here's the information for you. So, according to Nemmer's Kids Health, for some parents or caregivers, it may be tempting to tell a kid to fight back. After all, you're angry that your child is suffering. Maybe you have your own personal experience with bullies. Oh my God, it's like they were listening. And you were told to stand up for yourself when you were young, as you should be. Or you may worry that your child will continue to be bullied and think that fighting back is the only way to put a bully in their place, which it is.
It
But
is.
it totally is. But it's important to advise kids not to respond to bullying by fighting or bullying back. It can quickly escalate into violence, trouble, and someone getting injured. Instead, it's best. Can you even tell in my voice? Do I sound sincere? Instead, it's best to walk away from the situation, hang out with others, and tell an adult. Okay, to clarify, Cash and I both did just say, tell an adult, tell a teacher, tell us, but you also can defend yourself. So we're not trying to say, like, someone messes with you, man, beat the shit out of them. That's not it. Like, obviously, someone hits you, you say, please don't hit me, I don't like it. If they hit you again, you say, if you hit me again, I'm gonna hit you back. They hit you again, you lay their ass out.
Yeah.
That's our 3-step program. Okay, so here are some other ways kids can improve the situation and feel better. And I will acknowledge not every kid is confident and able to like defend themselves, and some
Yeah.
kids would prefer to use other ways, and that's totally fine too. Both ways could probably work, I'm sure. So tell an adult, teachers, principals, parents, and lunchroom personnel at school can all help stop bullying. Avoid the bully and use the buddy system. Use a different bathroom if a bully is nearby, and don't go to your locker if nobody else is around. Make sure you have someone with you so that you are not alone with the bully. Buddy up with a friend on the bus, in the hallways, or at recess. Wherever the bully is, offer to do the same for a friend.
Mm.
Not like bullies like audiences. Sakes. Hold the anger. Fuck. Sorry, I'm like, hell no. Hold the anger. It's natural to get upset by the bully. That's what bullies thrive on. It makes them feel more powerful. Practice not reacting or crying or looking red or upset. It takes a lot of practice. Jesus Christ. I don't even know if I can read. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm sorry. This is pissing me off.
Lay that motherfucker out.
Right? Yeah, just lay him
End
out.
of discussion.
It's just right. Try your best. Practice not crying. What the fuck? Man, you know, when I was writing this, I'm like, this seems like really good advice I give to them. And I get, like I said, I get there's people that are not going to feel confident fighting back, but so what? A kid that's bullied has to stand in front of a mirror and practice not crying?
Yeah, that's
Are you
ridiculous.
fucking kidding? They can't even go to their own locker and they have to go across the school to a different bathroom because some asshole.
No child
What?
should have to do those things or feel
Right?
that way ever. Yeah.
Hold that anger in so that you can hold it in for years. So when you're
Yeah.
older, it'll turn you into a bitter, angry. Like,
Yeah. No, I agree.
this just sounds awful. And I honestly, you can send your messages to me like you do about how I've pissed you off. I'm fine. Sometimes kids can find it useful to practice cool down strategies, such as counting to 10 before punching in the face. No, counting to 10, writing down their angry words, taking deep breaths, or walking away. Sometimes the best thing to do is teach kids to keep their face calm until they are clear of any danger, smiling or laughing to provoke the bully. So let's teach our kids to have resting bitch face so that they don't have to react to anything. Does it, like, I'm sorry, is it just me,
Yeah.
or does saying this shit out loud sound
It sounds ridiculous.
fucking ridiculous, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Act brave, walk away and ignore the bully. Firmly and clearly tell the bully to stop, then walk away. Practice ways to ignore the hurtful remarks, like acting uninterested or texting someone on your cell phone. Yeah, bring out your cell phone. Give the bully a chance to take that out of your hands and smash
Yeah.
it. Why don't you? By ignoring the bully, you're showing that you don't care. Eventually, the bully will probably get bored with trying to bother you. Probably, by the way. Probably, like not that they definitely will. They might. Who knows? Talk about it. Talk to someone you trust. This is the only one I will say yes is helpful. Talk about it to someone you trust, such as a guidance counselor, teacher, sibling, or friend. They may offer some helpful suggestions. Even if they can't fix the situation, it may help you feel a little less alone. Yes, if some asshole at school is being a dick and treating you like shit, you absolutely should talk to someone about them and your field to help you, not to help teach you how to pretend to be someone else so the bully doesn't bother you. You're not the problem. The bully is the problem. Let me make that clear. As a former bully, the poor innocent people that I was a dick to were not the problem. I was the problem, not them. They did nothing wrong. I was a dick. So, no, kids, if you are being bullied, you don't need to change who you are. You don't need to pretend to be someone different. And you shouldn't have to hide that anger inside of you just to make the asshole bully feel better. Absolutely not. So, that was my absolute bullshit advice. You're welcome.
In Alberta, there is a formal legislation on bullying and cyberbullying under the School Act. The legislation is a commitment of the school community to ensure a welcome, caring, respectful, and safe learning environment. The legislation specifically prohibits students from bullying others in school during the school day or by electronic means, cyberbullying. Students have an obligation to report bullying behavior, including cyberbullying. According to the CBE Student Code of Conduct, students have a responsibility under the School Act to respect the rights and dignity of others and to proactively participate in promoting and fostering positive relationships with others while on CBE property, participating in school activities, traveling to and from school, and engaging in any electronic communication both on or off CBE property or in any other circumstances that may impact the school environment. The CBE expects students to exhibit socially responsible and respectful behavior so that teaching and learning are maximized. Student behavior must not contravene the rights and provisions identified in the Alberta Human Rights Act and Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Discrimination, bullying, and harassment in any form will not be tolerated. Discriminatory behavior that breaches the Alberta Human Rights Act or the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms will not be tolerated. Students' responsibilities for promoting positive behaviors. Students are expected to behave in a manner that complies with the Student Code of Conduct and contributes to a welcome, caring, respectful, and safe learning environment. Students have a responsibility to not participate in or tolerate bullying while on school property, participating in school events, traveling to and from school, or any other circumstances that may impact the school environment.
I know you can't say too much about this, Sophia, but I will say I find it very funny that the school system basically puts all the expectations on the children in the school. Like, well, kids are not supposed to do this. Kids are not supposed, like, obviously, like, we get that. But do you, as the school board, understand you're dealing with children and they're not really known? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but children are not really known for their rule following capabilities, right? Like, you can have this in their code of conduct. I mean, most of it is just common sense, right? When you go to school and you're in the classroom, don't be a dick. That's common sense. How many people follow that? Probably not very many. I find it funny, and just me, not Sophia, we're gonna be saying more as we get a little bit further along. Because I know that you have to behave. I know that. I got it all for you.
Okay, students who are subject to or a witness of bullying, harassment, unwanted behaviors, or conduct that interferes with maintaining a welcome, caring, respectful, and safe environment should report that conduct to a classroom teacher, an advisor, guidance counselor, or any other staff member with whom they feel comfortable. Reports of bullying, harassment, and unwanted behaviors or unacceptable conduct should be made in a timely manner. The principal must assess and, where warranted, investigate and respond to all reports of bullying. Responding to unacceptable student behavior. Responses to student behavior must reflect a consistent and school-wide approach that ensures a range of fair and predictable responses to unacceptable behavior. When responding to unacceptable student behavior, the principal or teacher must account for the student's age, maturity, and individual circumstances in accordance with the Progressive Student Discipline Administrative Regulation. School staff must utilize a range of interventions, supports, and consequences that also include opportunities for students to learn, make amends, and focus on improving behavior. Student support. School staff shall support all students impacted by unacceptable conduct, including bullying. Consequences of unacceptable behavior. Consequences of unacceptable behavior must reflect a progressive approach, including both intervention and discipline at the classroom, school, and system levels. Classroom level, it is generally expected that initial responses to student behavior occur within the context of the classroom and involve the classroom teacher and other classroom staff supporting the student. School level, where classroom level responses have been unsuccessful or where the behavior is sufficiently serious, the classroom teacher will involve the support of other school staff, including administration. A principal may suspend a student from the school environment for up to 5 days in accordance with the applicable administrative regulation system level. The principal may recommend the removal of a student from the school environment and recommend to not reinstate the student in accordance with the applicable administrative regulation.
I copied and pasted this directly from the CBE website because just so everybody is clear, there's always a lot of the schools can't do anything. The school's hands are tied, blah, blah, blah. Like there's always those comments, right, on like posts and stuff about bullying. This is their expectation. So here's where I'm going to go on my tiny rant.
Okay.
The school ain't going to do shit, basically. But I'm not actually going to blame the school for this completely. Their hands are fucking tied. And who tied those hands? You, the parents. Because let's say your kid's being the bully and the school says, we're suspending him. He was bullying this person or she was bullying this person, whatever. This is the situation. This is what your kid did. He was a dick. They're suspended. And then the parent comes in and goes, oh my goodness, you can't do that. He's got so much anxiety and depression. He's so sad. You can't do that. So then the school is like, oh my God. And then that parent obviously is like, I'm going to go above your head. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. How dare you talk to my kid that way? Blah, 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 blah. The school can't do shit because you, the parent, will not accept the fact that your kid did anything wrong. Their hands are tied. What do you want them to do? If I was a parent of the child being bullied, I want your kid taken care of. I want that shit fixed. Your child needs to be suspended or needs to whatever. They need to be punished. But when the parents of the kids doing the bullying are louder than the parents of the bullied child, who gets listened to, right? Ask yourself, have your kids ever been disciplined at school? What happened? What was the consequences? And how did you react to those consequences? Did you believe the teacher when they told you your kid was being an ass? Did you believe them when they said your kid won't listen, your kid won't do this? How many excuses do you make for your child? That's where the problem is.
I have an example. My daughter we just had parent-teacher interviews with her teacher, and the teacher was saying how she went out in the hallway to go for a walk, which is totally fine, but then she goes with the wrong people, and then they start causing havoc amongst each other. And I'm just like, there it is.
Yeah.
I see it was coming.
Yeah.
So it's just knowing.
So it was your daughter that went in the hallway and then went with the wrong people and
Yeah, and I was like, I had a feeling because my son comes home mad because she kicked him in the hallway. And I was like, what are you doing? But it's taking ownership. Yeah, that's my kid. I know she's doing that.
Right? And that's just it. Parents, like, you know your kid. Any parent that says, my kid is perfect and will never would never. If you have ever heard yourself say, well, they would never, stop right there because they would. I'm sorry, but there were, I think my kids were great. I think they were super, like, compared to how I was as a teenager, they were awesome. They were so easy. But I'm not dumb. I know they did lots of shit that either I'm not aware of or that I am aware of, and they did shit they weren't supposed to do. Every kid does. That's what they do. They're kids. They test boundaries. They do all that stuff. I don't, yes, I think the school needs to do more, but I think the school feels like their hands are tied because they can't do anything because the parents won't listen and won't support them in what they're doing. That's where I think the biggest issue comes for bullying at schools. Could you imagine going to work and having like a coworker just berate you all day long at work and bully the shit out of you and like you just have to take it?
Yeah.
As an adult,
And
what would
there's
you
no
do?
consequences. There's no
Right?
consequences. You can go
That
talk to the higher ups, but they don't care. They don't do nothing about it. They
yeah,
can talk to them, but then,
right? But I would have the expectation that that dickhead is going to get fired. If they can't
right,
conduct themselves in an orderly manner at work, they shouldn't be working there.
right.
That should be the expectation.
Yeah,
If a child cannot conduct themselves in a respectful manner at school, they get suspended or
right.
moved to a different classroom, or there needs to be something. There
There
needs
needs to
to
be
be
something.
some consequence. And I do understand it is difficult. Like, what exactly are the teachers going to do? And that's the problem. If we don't teach our kids consequences from a very young age, all these people that are like, a gentle parent, there is no timeout. I can't say no. I had a day home parent tell me we don't say no to our child. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, you're gonna need to clarify that. They're like, if they're doing something you don't like, you need to let them finish. I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm like, I'm gonna say stop doing that. She's like, we don't say stop, we don't say no. You
So
have
they
to
just like redirect.
you basically, if that's what they want to do, you let them do it. I'm like,
Oh.
oh, that's not how the world works, honey. I'm like, and she's like, we just don't want them to feel like they can't express themselves. I'm like, they're two. They get to express themselves all they want within the rules of like my day home. Like,
hmm
but they don't get to express themselves by hitting other children with toys. And because I asked her, I'm like, well, okay, so can you explain to me if he's hitting another child with a toy, what would you like me to do in that case? She said, just wait it out. I'm like, hold on. Hold on. Like, what about the kid that's getting hit with a toy?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, they can move. I'm like, bitch, I want to smack you. Like, that's not how real life works.
No, it's
Kids,
not.
if your kid can't handle being told no, life's gonna chew them up and spit them out. I'm
It is
sorry. It's hard.
going
Life
to
is
be
hard.
terrible. Yeah.
Right, there's rules we have to follow. So all this bullying shit in school would have been stopped or made a lot better if we had stricter rules at home. You're not going to stop it completely. Back when kids were spanked and beaten and treated unpoorly by their parents, there was still bullies. I get that. But the amount of bullies we have now, everybody is a bully now at this point because nobody is disciplined. It used to be there was one or two bullies in the school. Now it's probably the other way. You're lucky if there's one or two people that are not bullies to some
Yeah.
extent, right? Let's get back to teaching the basics. No, knock
Yeah.
it off.
Yeah.
You don't get to. Okay, so a parent of a student has the responsibility to A, take an active role in the student's educational success, B, assist the student in complying with the student code of conduct, and C, promote the prevention of bullying, assist the school in addressing disciplinary issues involving their child, and E, ensure the parent's conduct contributes to a welcoming, caring, respectful, and safe environment. Sounds fantastic, right?
Sounds good.
Right? So there's
Yeah.
absolutely no bullying in Calgary schools, right? Because it's not allowed. They have a zero tolerance policy for bullies. So if a child is bullied, the situation is handled quickly and it never happens again, correct? Sadly, that's not even close. We see time and time again in moms groups about children being bullied, and the school's not doing anything about it or saying they will speak to said bully, but nothing changes. The truth is, the school is limited on the actions that they can take for fear of repercussions from the parents of the bully. Yep, that's right. The bully is the one that is protected, not unlike our judicial system. No one looks out for the victims. Which is sad, right? I mean, adults that are offend and commit crimes, they're back on the streets in no time. So, like it kind of follows the kids that were dickheads in school, they go on to be dickheads in life.
And I'm also going to add that this is not just about kids bullying kids. It's about kids bullying teachers,
Yeah, oh, 100%.
right? And kids getting sent to the office
Hmm.
and then just getting sent right back to classroom
Yeah,
without even being spoken to.
right. And I mean, there are teachers that are dicks, and there are teachers that are amazing. And it's always the great teachers that kids bully. Kids
Mhm.
don't bully the dick teachers because they're terrified of them because they're dicks. Like, right? Like that's
Yeah.
what, so it's always the really good teachers or the really quiet teachers that are actually really good teachers. Just kids don't shut up long enough to listen to them. Like as bad as I was, like I was awful in school, but I still had respect for my teachers, oddly, except the one situation with the one principal. That was different. They were awful to me too. They were mean to me. But like I still had that respect your elders type thing, right? There was still certain lines I wouldn't cross. Not many, but there was some. And
Mhm.
being outright disrespectful to a teacher, I just wouldn't show up to class, but I wouldn't be outright disrespectful to them. Kids today seem to, they don't give a fuck. They
No.
will talk however they want to teachers. What can they do in response to that? When a high school student disrespects them, or junior high student, whatever, if they're outright disrespectful to them, what actions can the teachers take other than get out of my classroom?
Yeah, that's
And
pretty
then
much it.
hope that
Go
the
to the
kid leaves the
office.
classroom. What if the
Yeah.
kid is like, fuck off, I'm sitting right here, I'm not going anywhere? Like, what are you gonna do?
There's nothing you can do. Nothing.
Right?
There's
Exactly.
absolutely nothing.
Because kids, you can't touch me. I don't give you consent to touch me.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
they're in this awful position. But the bottom line is kids should not be that way. There is a lack of teaching respect, manners, discipline. If you don't do that, you have dicks for kids, right? Like they don't follow rules, they don't listen, they have no respect because you haven't taught that to them. So parents, it's on you. Stop being so bad. We had some people share their experiences with us. So, we're not going to say any names to protect the kids, obviously. The question was, do you have any experience with bullying in school? How did your school handle the bullying? So this person responded, they don't handle it. I had the absolute worst experience with bullying, especially in high school. I'll share this anonymously but publicly so people know how brutal it was. Trigger warning, SA,
Sexually assaulted.
when I was 16 years old, I was SA'd at a party by two guys, and it was videotaped without my permission. The only thing is nobody knew it wasn't consensual. The people who did this decided to pass the video around to everyone at my school. I know a lot of teachers knew, but they didn't do anything about it. The principal knew, but said unless I wanted to do something about it, then there was nothing they could do. I was getting death threats telling me that if I pressed charges that I would be assaulted for it, so I didn't. I had kids constantly make fun of me down the halls, calling me names, posting stuff about me on social media. The person who did this ended up switching into the school and I left. It was so relentless for about 4 months before I decided to switch to online schooling. Things got much better until grad season came around. Everyone was picking their grad dresses and posting them on an Instagram page so nobody would buy the same dress. Someone decided to make another page that was making fun of everyone's dresses and saying the most absolutely vulgar things. I was accused of being the person that did this. I received countless messages from girls telling me how terrible of a person I was and how I shouldn't be allowed to go to grad. They started a petition that stated that I wasn't allowed to attend grad. I hadn't even seen the Instagram page yet. I wasn't even going to grad, nor did I go to that school anymore. I ended up getting called into the principal's office, had to go in on my own time because I didn't go there anymore, and was questioned for a couple of hours, just to be sent home and never spoken to again. Nothing was done about it, and everyone acted like it didn't happen after a while. The staff just sat there and watched and did nothing. By far, some of the most traumatizing experiences I've ever had to go through, and they still impact me to this day. All I have to say is if you are an adult and you are witnessing someone get bullied, do something about it. It's disgusting the amount of times that they just sat there and didn't even do the bare minimum to help. Kids are vulnerable and don't always know how to deal with things. It makes me sad now knowing how many people knew about it and did nothing. There's no way they could have missed it. They just turned a blind eye and got to peacefully go to bed at night while I cried myself to sleep. So in conclusion, zero tolerance, my ass. That is fucking awful.
Mm-hmm.
I would say to that person, press charges anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then if someone attempts to do something, press charges on that person. And when that principal called you into the office, you say, fuck you, dude. I don't go to that school. I'm not coming. You don't have to. You don't have to go in when if that's not your principal, right? Especially if you had nothing to do with the Instagram page.
My thing is where's her parents to support her?
Mm-hmm.
Good point. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, because I would be losing my shit as a parent.
Yeah,
Right?
Right?
I would absolutely
Yeah.
be going to the cops. But they videoed it? Fuck that, man. You're like, I mean, whether they video it or not, you press charges. They need consequences, right? I'm so sorry for this person. So sorry to you for the shit you had to go through.
Someone else has said they talk to the bullies and nothing changes. If there are 3 or 4 bullies, they will believe them over the 2 who went to the teacher to get them to stop. If the bully is a suck up to the teacher and gets better grades than who they bully, they believe them because the teacher can't believe they would do such a thing. Even though they do mean things to more than one kid, all the underachievers must be telling lies. It's ridiculous. Someone else has said, my school gave the bully a virtue award. They seem to only care about those who get the best grades. Someone else went on to say, as a red-haired child, elementary school days were some of the worst of my life. Now, as the mother of a red-haired child, I am worried for her. And when I say this to anyone, I'm met with the same bullshit answers I was told. But it's beautiful. People pay a lot of money for that hair color and teach her to stand up for herself. The point is, she shouldn't have to stand up for herself. Her idiot teachers shouldn't make her represent the sun in a solar system and be called that the rest of her school years. Teachers do nothing to help and nothing to mitigate the problems they create.
That fucking teacher. My oldest is a red-haired child also, and he used to get that all the time. Like his grandparents would say, like, "Oh, but it's so beautiful," and like hairdressers would be like, "Oh, but it's such a beautiful color. People pay big money. Fuck off. Who cares? Like if other people pay big money for that." The truth of the matter is, red-haired kids, unfortunately, can be brutally bullied for no reason other than their hair color. And for a teacher to make her the sun in a solar system, that teacher should have fucking known better. That's a dick move. Bad teacher.
Someone else went on to say, in middle school, if a friend of ours' son was bullied, called gay in a derogatory way, said he had AIDS, came to his house and threatened him. The same bullies bullied him for over 2 years. After the incident where they came to his house, his parents went to the homes of their parents and both families claimed they had never heard a peep from the school despite the school saying they were handling it. Mostly nothing is done.
That's awful.
But at least the parents stepped in.
Yeah, good for on those parents. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of middle school kids are teasing people saying they have AIDS?
Yeah,
But
that's
like,
terrible. They don't even know what AIDS is.
right? And nowadays, it doesn't fucking matter. You just take a pill, you're fine.
There was a boy who used to punch and kick my daughter. Thankfully, he's moved schools now, and the school's response was terrible. Their way of dealing with it was to have the assistant principal write an apology letter on his behalf. He was plenty old enough and able to read and write himself, and have him give the note to my daughter. When she said no, she didn't accept this apology, she was then made out to be the problem because he had apologized. Things escalated enough that we had to involve the police. The teacher she had last school year always favored the popular kids and would literally say to kids that were picked on by them, "No, I'm not hearing it." When kids would try to tell her what happened, the victim would get in trouble and the bullies received no consequence at all. In my experience, the schools do not practice what they preach when it comes to bullying. Elementary did nothing for my son. Then when he had enough and fought back, they blamed him. I had a huge fight with the school about it, switched schools for grade 6, and yeah, there was some bullying, but school did handle it well. When one support worker told my son, "I know how you react, so you are to blame," I lost my mind on them. Told them to deal with it or I will outside of school. Honestly worried about my youngest because she has alopecia. Kids can be mean. So far, kids are great for him, but we will be having to switch schools soon, so who knows?
Jesus, could you imagine being that vice principal?
I
Hey,
know,
I
right?
need you to write an apology letter from this student to that student for fuck off.
Yeah. I've
Like,
never heard of a vice principal doing that. Like, that's very weird to
that
me.
is so weird.
Yeah, I've never.
Like that, I don't think that's in your job description.
Yeah, no,
It's
I've
just the
never.
weirdest
Yeah,
thing.
that is very strange to
Yeah,
me.
how about have the kid that did the bullying write the fucking letter himself? And if he's not
Exactly.
capable of writing the letter, here's the thought, use your words. Do the
Yeah.
speaking from your mouth. Like,
Do I ever have experience with this personally in high school to now my son dealing with it? And I went to principal, assistant principal, superintendent, the ward counselor, the police, the news, nothing is ever done. And we're talking choking, punching, stomping, stabbing with pencils, and even inappropriate touching. Keep in mind, this is elementary, which makes it even worse. School did nothing when I would get pushed into lockers, beaten up, or had to sit with my feet up on the toilet to sneak. I was in there and eat my lunch without fists flying at my face. I dropped out and finished online. I hate CBE with all my passion. I can keep going, but you get the gist. This also was the same bully for my child for 4 years. 4 years, guys. It didn't start out physically.
another person said, my son was a victim of a bully. The bullying spilled into the community, and even then, not one thing was done. Zero tolerance means absolutely nothing. Zero tolerance is a term they use to make a parent believe they'll actually do something. The reality, nothing is done because all children have a right to an education. The bully is subject to progressive discipline, a basic 3 strikes you're out theory. You can be bullied, and the bully still has 3 chances to stop. Someone else said, my daughter's entire grade 6 class was constantly bullied by the teacher and principal. Every day being screamed at, threatened, told if they tell, nothing will happen anyway. They had recess taken away, were called on purposely if the teacher knew they couldn't answer questions, and then would berate them in front of the peers. Group of girls had a slam book. Nasty things were written in, and it circulated the older grades 4 to 6 in the school. My daughter was told she is just faking her dyslexia. It was brutal. I went to the principal. That when I found out he was part of it, then superintendent, not one response to my emails or calls. Then I went to the district. They did nothing. I am so glad she is out of that school this coming year. Who the fuck fakes dyslexia?
Mm-hmm.
Bullies can be ruthless. They are mean to the point of cruel at times. And let's face it, all the tips the experts give, like walk away, tell the teacher, and so on, may work for elementary bullies, but as they get older, if you have tried those approaches already, you're gonna need more. So what do you do? Personally, I recommend martial arts. Especially if your child is bullied at a young age, put them in and keep them in through school. Make it a non-negotiable activity. Martial arts will not only teach them to defend themselves, it will teach them confidence, respect, and how to avoid physical encounters. That being said, if the bullying turns physical, they will know how to defend themselves. So when I say martial arts, I don't mean go to your community program and find, I mean go and find a dojo that has a proper sensei. You're gonna need the proper gi. If they're like, oh, come in your sweats and a t-shirt, nope, leave that place. Find an actual proper structured martial arts class. They're going to teach your kid to have so much confidence their bullies are not going to bother them. And I know a lot of people say, well, martial arts just encourages violence. It absolutely does not. The number one thing they teach you in martial arts is not to fight. They teach you every way possible to avoid, like, they teach you how to block. They teach you how to build your confidence so you just don't even give a shit what bullies say. They teach you to try everything else first. But they also teach you, if the bully does get physical, how to react without hurting the bully. Some of those are key factors, right? So if someone goes to punch them, they teach you how to block without harming the bully at all. They're not teaching your kids how to fight, but you need a proper, not just a community class, not a fun class, an actual where they're going to move up in their belts. I would recommend, unless they have, like, Sophia, your girl's good 'cause she plays hockey. She knows how to defend herself. But if your girls, put them in martial arts, even if it's once a week, girls need to know how to defend themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So do boys that are delicate. Is that the right? Like if they're not sensitive. Yes, if you have a sensitive boy, put them in martial arts. And honestly, make it a non-negotiable. It's just, this is something you have to take. You know how you have to go to school? You have to go to this class.
Mm-hmm.
The confidence it gives you. I wish that I would have kept up with it, because I think that had I had stayed in martial arts, I probably wouldn't have been a bully, because I would have had that confidence through my martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
Some kids absolutely do not need to go in martial arts. Those are usually the bullies. So if you look at your kid and goes, fuck, he don't need martial arts, watch him, because there's a reason. And so bullies are looking for a response. They want you to engage with them emotionally. So they want you to be upset, right? Unemotional response deprives a bully of the attention and the sense of power that they're seeking. To avoid responding to a bully emotionally, it does help to practice the response first. And I don't mean practice not crying. I mean, look in the mirror and practice these responses so that when you say them to a bully, you say them with confidence and you don't stumble over your words. Responses like, I see, good to know, interesting concept, are quick and they don't leave room for discussion. When people tell their kids to just ask the bully why they talk to them like that, you're just opening yourself up to be bullied more. Don't ask them questions, because they're going to have a comeback and it's going to be at your expense. So personally, I enjoy a witty comeback. Like, that sounded better in your head, didn't it? You're like a cloud. When you disappear, it's a beautiful day. Somewhere out there is a tree working very hard so you can breathe. I think you should find it and apologize. It's kind of hilarious watching you trying to fit your entire vocabulary into one sentence. So these responses are from my absolute favorite TikToker. Her name is Taylor. Her TikTok handle is @eyes with 3 S's.
No, at bright.eyes.
Did I forget to say bright?
You said at dot.
Fuck. Sorry.
I.
Sophia is correct. It's Taylor. Her name is Taylor. Her TikTok handle is @bright.eyes with 3 S's at the end. And she's on TikTok. I highly recommend you follow her because she's fucking hilarious and she's got a great like southern twang accent. She makes everything she says sounds fantastic. But she has all these like so many witty comebacks that don't open you up for discussion. They don't open a door for you to for them to say anything. And if anyone said something like this, I know when I was a bully, if someone had said something like that to me, I would have been like, what? And then situation diffused, right?
Yeah.
Like, these are great. She's amazing. Give her a follow.
CTV News reported that a Toronto mother says she was forced to pull her son from classes after his school failed to protect him. from a violent bully, and the process to transfer him to another school dragged on for weeks. Gaylon Richard is a mother of 6 who said she enrolled all of her children at a Toronto District School Board school in Rexdale after moving to the area last year. But shortly after the school year started, so too did the problems. Richard said that on September 17th, her 5-year-old daughter came home with a noticeable red marks on her cheek. She learned that another student had scratched her near the eye, and although her daughter reported the incident to a teacher at the time, Richard said the school did not contact her. The next day, I went to them to find out what happened because my daughter was hurt. No one told me what happened. She told me what happened, but I want to hear from the adults that were involved, she said in an interview. That preceded a series of alleged incidents that would occur over the next month, involving her 8-year-old son, who Richard said was the victim of at least 5 acts of bullying at the school. It was a rainy October 25th day, and Richard said her son and his grade 3 class were indoors for recess due to the weather. At one point, she said the students were left unattended, and her son became involved in an altercation with another student. He was sitting down. The student that's been bullying him took something from him. He tried getting it back. The student smashed his head on the metal part of the whiteboard in the classroom. Richards recalled. He said it was bleeding, and I asked, "Did you go get help? Did anyone help you?" He said, "No, Mama. There was nobody there. It was just hurting so bad, I didn't know what to do." Richard said, bursting into tears, "No one noticed anything, and it broke my heart knowing that he's over there in pain and nobody even took the time to look at him to see if he was okay." Richard said she got her son a tetanus shot after the incident as a precaution and reported it to the principal and the vice principal, who she said assured her that they would investigate. However, she said that nothing came out of that investigation. Days later, Richards said she received a call from the vice principal stating that her son had been hurt in an incident involving the same student, in which she said he was lured outside during recess and viciously attacked. He went outside under the impression that they wanted to be his friend. They were going to play with him because, again, he's new at the school. He doesn't have any friends, and I explained this to them, the school's administration, which makes him an easy target. While they were on the ground playing animal, the other student and his friend stomped on his head. They kicked him in the chest multiple times and in the stomach when he was on the ground. When he finally got up, he went and got help, and they took him to the office, she said. Richards said the incident was labeled rough play by the school's administrators. Richards filed a police report following the 2 incidents. Toronto police confirmed to CTV News Toronto that they investigated, but no charges were laid due to the age of the parties involved. I decided to take him out of school because I saw how it was affecting him mentally as well. I feel like he shouldn't have to wake up in the morning feeling scared to go to school, not knowing if the bully is going to pick on him or beat him up today or not. In a statement to CTV News, a spokesperson for the TDSB said all reports of bullying are taken seriously by the school administration and investigated. The board said the details of this case could not be shared due to its privacy policy. It did not say whether it was able to corroborate the allegations made by Richards.
That is fucking horrendous. They stomped on his head and kicked him in the what the fuck? And that's bullshit that they can't be charged. You know what? Why can't the parents be charged then?
That's kind of how I was bullied in elementary school too, though. I remember being put on the ground and they were using me as a couch.
What the fuck? I feel like I maybe wasn't that bad of a bully because I didn't do that. That's fucking brutal.
I still even remember the girl's name that used to do it to me like it was yesterday, and I was in like maybe kindergarten.
Jesus. This poor kid. And for the school to call it rough play, that's not rough play, that's assault. Bad on you, school in Toronto. As a parent, I'd want to find those kids' parents and beat the fuck
Right?
out of them.
That's always my answer.
Right?
I'm like, Where's this kid's mom?
Right? Exactly. Exactly.
That's always my answer. I have a story, and this one is pretty messed up. So we were at the park, and I had my day home kids with me, and it was when my daughter was a baby. She's 12 now, but if she was a baby, and she was little, I had to hold her in my arms, right?
Yeah.
So there was this boy at the playground, and he was running around, and he was swearing at everyone and hitting everyone, and
Oh
he
my
was just this
God.
mean little fucker, okay?
Yeah, a little
And
psycho
so
kid.
his mom was sitting under a tree, like very far away.
Yeah.
And I ended up going up to her and saying, "Look it." I'm like, "Your kid is going around swearing at everybody and hitting everybody, and you're sitting over here way far away from the playground, not even watching him." I'm
Right?
like, "You should be watching him." And I turned
Yeah.
around and I walked away. So I think she kind of like sat there stunned almost that I spoke to her that way. And
Yeah.
so I rounded up my kids and I'm like, "We're going," because we're not even gonna, this kid was a terror, right? I'm
Yeah.
like, "We're leaving, we'll go to a different playground." And as I'm walking to my car, she runs over to me and she is screaming at me and
What?
swearing at me because I spoke to her this way and it was not my place. And I honestly, I thought she wanted to fight me.
Oh
And I'm
my
like, I
God.
have a baby in my arms. I'm like, you need to grow up. You
Right?
know, I have a baby in my arms and like five little kids with me. I'm like, what
Yeah.
are you doing? And I seriously, if I didn't have an ace of arms, she probably would have started throwing fists. And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
now I know why your kid is the way he is,
Right? That is
right?
exactly, that is exactly
Yeah,
why he is that way. And
yeah,
I'm sorry, you can't speak to her that way. Yeah, you
yeah.
can. Says
Yeah,
who?
I can. Watch your fucking kid.
Right?
You know, like,
Oh
oh,
my God,
I was
that's
so mad.
brutal.
And then she was really mad at me. She
Do you know what?
lost it.
She probably was more embarrassed, and that's how she handled it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Like I had my day home kids were crying. Like she
Yeah.
scared them that much,
No
right?
kidding. That
Like
is,
it was, yeah. But yeah, she was embarrassed and that's how she handled it for sure.
I mean, we all
Yeah.
fuck up as parents. We all fuck up at
Yeah.
sometimes, right? We
Yeah.
all kind of, I was on my phone, wasn't paying attention, whatever. You all make mistakes.
Yeah.
And if someone calls you out on it, be humble and
Yeah.
just realize, like, yeah, you fucked up. And then
Yeah.
you might be embarrassed, but it's okay to say, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Thank you for pointing that out to me. I've noticed this has been a very sweary for me, very sweary episode.
Yeah,
And
me too.
it's because I'm passionate about it. I think
Yeah.
I'm aware that I fucked up. I did wrong, and I don't want to see other people suffer from it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I in return have been bullied. Like it's not like I've had this blessed life where I've never been bullied. I absolutely have been bullied, not only by parents, but like by other kids.
Yeah.
But and I also remember, so my best friend in junior high, she was bullied at times, and there was one, the actual like the bully of the school. Like I was a cunt. She was the bully of the school, and she bullied everybody, and everybody was like a bit afraid of her because she was a tough ass bitch. Like, and everybody was afraid of her. And she's tried to bully my best friend, who was very like quiet and like she wasn't gonna fight anybody. And I was like, absolutely not, bitch. One bully to another bully. I'm gonna have to kick your ass now. And we got into it, and nobody really won the fight. Like we fought until the bus showed up, and then we got on the bus and went to school.
Yeah.
But she didn't bully my friend ever again. She
Yeah.
bullied plenty of other kids, but you got to stand up to them.
Yeah.
You really, that's the only way to get rid of bullies is stand up to them. Whether
Yeah.
it's by witty comeback, like my favorite YouTuber, she's fucking awesome, or whether you have to defend yourself physically. You cannot let them continue. If you were an adult and someone assaulted you, you'd fight back. Why can our kids not fight back? Why can they not
Yeah.
defend themselves? Why did they have to just, be tortured and then hold that anger inside and be upset?
Yeah.
Teachers, practice not crying in the mirror. The fury that was putting in me. I'm like, I could barely read it. I want to
Yeah.
track down whoever wrote that and punch him in the face.
Yeah,
which is
and
not
bully them.
nice, right? And then be like, bitch, you practice not crying.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
practice not crying in the mirror
Go
because
practice
I'm
what you
gonna
preach.
bully you. Like,
No.
I often got bullied for what I was wearing because I grew up poor. So I either wore like the same things constantly or like really shitty brands of clothes and stuff like that. And I mean, that wasn't my fault. But I remember thinking like, if only I could have better stuff.
Yeah.
You can try and fix yourself all you want. Bullies are gonna be dicks and bully for whatever reason. When I first moved here, I got bullied because I had short hair and everybody called me Joe, which is short for Joanne,
I call you Joe all the
right?
time.
And my family did. Everybody called me Joe. So then kids at school would be like, "Are you a boy?" I'm like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" No. Like they're like, "You
Yeah.
have short hair." I'm like, "That don't make you a boy." But they tried to bully me over that. And then here's little 11-year-old me with my English accent calling them all cunts. Who gets in trouble? Me. And I'm like, "But they're being cunts." Like, what do you want me to tell you? But
Oh,
like
that's
kids
funny.
bully for everything, right? Like, so you gotta be able to defend yourself. It's not you, it's them.
Yep. Last words from Joanne. And with that said, good night, podcast world. Goodbye and good night. Done.
So that's it for Moms on Mics this week.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Moms on Mics Podcast, on TikTok at Moms on Mics, and join our Facebook group, Moms on Mics.
If anyone has any topics you would like us to cover, or if you have any questions or suggestions, you can email us at momsonmics@gmail.com or submit through our website, momsonmics.com.
We would also appreciate it if you could rate and review us on whatever platform you're listening on. It really helps the podcast move up on their charts so it gets more exposure. I hope you join us again next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.